Namaskar. Spiritual path is the path of sadhana. Sadhana is a Sanskrit term. It denotes an effort to complete oneself. I am incomplete, physically incomplete. My body is not perfect. Intellectually, mentally incomplete, and spiritually also. So, spiritual path is about upgrading yourself. And what is the key point in this sadhana? It is an ability to go through tribulations, through difficulties. Life has white parts and black parts. So you go white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, like that. Both have their significance. During the nice part of life, you need to gather strength. You need to gather the inspiration, build up the faith, build up the positive momentum. You meditate, you enjoy, you really enter into the world of sentient energy, where everything is joy and pleasure and everything, happiness. But the dark side is in you also. It's going to come out. One day or another, it will come out, will assert itself. Within you, if not within, then outside of you. So, sadhaka is the person who thrives in the challenging circumstances. The circumstances are challenging, adverse. But in the midst of that adversity, you have decided to thrive. That's the beauty. And that's what you want to become. That's called, finally, it's called Dagda Bija, the burnt seed. The person who, with his utmost positivity, has destroyed his karma. The karma cannot affect. It means karma is there. But how the karma is reproducing? There is a seed within you, in your mind, the seed of desire, some weakness, something. So then it will sprout and come whispering in your ears something secret and dark. And then that can be cowardice, that can be a desire, that can be greed, that can be so many things. So secretly it whispers in your ear, that seed. And Dagda Bija is the person who, with his positivity, burnt the seed. It means karma is there, it has to come as a pain or pleasure. But when something comes to you, you are propelled to the action. And when you act, you create another reaction in the mind, another karma in the mind, another samskara in the mind, which will again sprout. So sometimes from one tiny seed, the entire field of millet will be created. And so many seeds, and you have to eat them for thousands of years. So Dagda Bija is the person burnt seed. Means you have to, when you burn the seed, you still have to eat it. But that seed cannot sprout. So the person with the utmost positivity is like that. Life is happening. Life is kissing. Life is beating. But you remain unassailed with that. So that is ideal sadhaka. So there is white portion of life. You consolidate your force, you gather your inspiration, you gather the positive momentum, and then there is a dark part of life. There you what? You tolerate. The toleration, you suffer. But stand on your ideological fundamentals. And that is the conflict. There is a conflict, constant conflict between different aspects of our being, of our nature. There is animal nature within us, which is very fearful. It's very nasty and cowardly. And then there is divine, heroic and beautiful nature within us. So they will clash within. And then you support the divine and you stand upon that. Sadhana means basically two things. One is to follow the laws of nature. And laws of nature, they are different for all different beings. It's like for the worm, there is one law. For the bird, there is another law. They are governed by different kinds of instincts. Some are by very undeveloped instinct, and some by very developed instinct. Sometimes very developed instincts, they come in conflict with undeveloped instinct. Sometimes you're very much afraid, but your rational mind propels you and say that even if you are afraid now, you must act. If you don't act, it's worse than just you stay, no? And being afraid you are not moving somewhere. So there is a conflict. Rational mind is in a conflict with the less developed emotions. So by following the laws, natural laws, I mean following the natural laws for the human being. And that is the laws of morality, Jama and Niyama. And another part of sadhana is to make a constant effort to elevate your consciousness. So two things. During the tribulations, during the clash, during the challenge time, two challenges come. One is to follow the natural laws, to remain moral, because the whispers are there. It's okay. It's okay, just be coward. Or express your greed, express your lust, whatever. It's just there are some whispers there. I mean, in the form of desire, you know. That is one challenge, to remain good in the challenging circumstances. When it is white, it is very easy to be good. But it's not clear. Is it your nature, or is it just because it is so easy so that you follow? And another challenge is to maintain the constant effort for the elevation of consciousness. It's just like you try to bring up the water. If you stop doing that, the water will go down. So you need to continue doing sadhana, even in the adverse circumstances. Even in the very adverse, even in the condition of pain, you have to maintain your sadhana. So if you stick with these two, following the laws of nature, the morality, and then keeping sadhana, keeping your effort to elevate the consciousness, you pass successfully through the tribulations and you upgrade yourself. You upgrade yourself. What is that upgrade? Sadhana depends on the strong nervous system. When you sit in sadhana, you want to attain samadhi, the union with God. Do you think it's a joke? You think it's just like, okay, here you are. It's not like that. You have to be very strong. It's like if you connect the bulb with a very, very powerful electricity, too much current, the bulb will be burned. So that's why the Supreme Consciousness has to be very gentle with you. He will come to you when you are ready. But if the base is not ready, you are not able to take that electricity. So if you want more powerful spiritual life, get yourself stronger, the nervous system stronger. And that happens when you endure the tribulations, when you endure the pain. That's why it may happen in the life of sadhaka. And then at that time we just have to understand this is a part of cosmic blessing. I'm becoming better. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to come successful through these tribulations. So spiritual path is not always laid with flower petals. Is not always covered with thorns. So keeping that in mind, we have to prepare ourselves for any kind of path. Sometimes I see in the beginners, they are very gentle, fragile. There is a small problem, but it's like really end of the world for the person. And I'm remembering myself also. I was sometimes just like, for the small thing, suffering for 3 days, 7 days, really cannot come out of that inner tension and inner suffering, and could not behave myself as normal. So and now you think like, why did I do that? Why was I like that? And this is the difference between the experienced practitioners. They became very strong. They became very tough, actually. They can go through different challenges. And then that's life is unfolding for both, for meditation and for the social change, for the service to the society. You must have strong nervous system. You must become strong personality. And that is part of sadhana. Why I'm presenting these ideas in this video? Because it is very important to understand that meditation is not about relaxation. It's not about positive thinking. Meditation is about becoming very strong. Strong physically, mentally, spiritually. And then also establishing yourself in these two processes, the principles and elevation of consciousness. This is like you keep on them, hold them. Whatever happens, you understand this world is nothing but a school, is nothing but matrix where you are to learn certain lessons, where you are to build spiritual muscles. So whatever happens, it happens because of that only. For you to build the spiritual muscles. And one thing more. Why do we suffer actually in the first place? Because of attachments. Because of the attachments. If I am attached, then I am afraid also. I am also lustful. I am also greedy. So when the tribulation comes, there is a certain point where you're mentally giving up. Okay, whatever has to be, let it be. I accept. Then that acceptance makes you free from attachment. And then you can really enjoy the life. Because if you are, for example, you are a rich person, but you are very attached to your riches, or your fame, or your power, social prestige, social status. I have seen many people, they are like, what will happen if my friends see me doing meditation, or what will happen if my friends see that I do kirtan. Now it's better, because now the meditation become a thing. But like 15 years ago, it's like, oh, maybe people will think that I belong to some weird religion. They worry so much for their status in society, how the neighbors will think, how your co-workers will think. Why do you need to care these things? Such a small things. And you doing your sadhana, the spiritual empowerment, and you have to worry what will neighbors think, because you are attached to your fame, name, status, money, all these things. And that's why life is always insecure. Security is one of the basic needs of the human being. But feeling secure, if you feel like I have nothing to lose, nothing, because already I gave up everything. So you feel happiness. Whatever happens to me, I'm the same. I'm going to be happy here. I will be going to be happy there. So that is the one advantage. And also when you go through these challenges, that is another effect. One effect that you become stronger. Another effect is that you become more free. You give up your attachments. I remember one time I like the kind of intellectual work. So I was working on my biopsychology presentation, and I built very beautiful slides for the biopsychology. Like you use the projector and you show all the chakras, so many things. I spent hundreds of hours of work for that, and then just I finished that work, and there were many other things in my computer. Just when I finished that work, my hard drive got burnt out. I was like, come on, no. And I was just like, I went into sort of depression for maybe 2 days. And I was like, but as a result of that, I gave it up. I thought, okay, I don't care. Whatever I have amassed, my intellectual knowledge, my lectures and all these things, whatever I amassed in that hard drive, now I let it go. It's okay, no problem. The first reaction was this: okay, now nothing holds me here. I am going to go to the monastery. Then one friend of mine came, one teacher of meditation. She said, "Oh, why you are so unhappy?" I say, "Didi, my hard drive burned. So many hours of my work." She said, "Did you try to use the Guru mantra?" It's like ideation before every action. Some people believe that it has some magical properties. I said, "Didi, 100 times I tried to use this Guru mantra." So, okay, let me try. So she sat on the front of this computer, and she's like, I say, Then she really ideates. Then she presses the button, and it starts. And everything starts and everything is there. Immediately I backed up. But already after that there was no attachment. It was broken. It's gone. Until now, I remember I was like, really everything classifying, archiving and keeping everything. So now I don't care. It's not anymore. It's not anymore a thing for me. I let it go. So I'm free from that. So in life, there is one song. It's called Raktim Ki Shalai. Raktim Ki Shalai, Ami Raktim Ki Shalai. Shoja poti choli ami banka poti kobu kobu nai. Raktim Ki Shalai, Ami Raktim Ki Shalai. In the I'm the reddish. I'm like a purple sprout. When something comes out of the ground, it's still red. So that is Raktim Ki Shalai. So in this song, my master, he describes, I am Raktim Ki Shalai. I am this reddish leaf coming to life. And I am determined to fight and thrive in all the circumstances. And then Shoja poti choleami baka poti kobu kobu nai. The straight path I always follow. The crooked path, never, never. And then it says, Raktim Ki Shalai, mi Raktim Ki Shalai. Shoja kote kotha bhavi ami baka kota kobu kobu nai. Raktim Ki Shalai, ami Raktim Ki Shalai. Always I think straight thought. never crooked thought. I never think to indulge my fears or my greed or something like my egoism. I always think in terms of welfare for everybody. And then Amar Shumuki Achi Shamala Shaba Amar Dupashi Achi Aruna Abba. Before me the verdant beauty, and also I see the radiance of the crimson dawn. Amar Shumuki Achi Aruna Abba. Amar Bahuti Ache Bojrerabol. In my hands there is a power of the thunderbolt, and in my eyes the clarity. I see Amar Ankite Achi Drishti Bimol. In my eyes complete clarity. I see with clarity. There is no clouds there. So I am the Raktim Kishalayim. I am the reddish leaf. I am fresh. I am coming into life. I am going to be victorious. I am going to fight. It's because why I thought this, why I remember this Raktim Kishalai, because you know, sometimes under this asphalt, under this the road covering, under the concrete, sometimes there is some dandelion, for example, and that dandelion is just like pushing the hard crust of the road, and then it pushes and pushes and pushes, and finally cracks it open and thrives. So that is one ideal for the tantrika, for the spiritual seeker, that you are going to thrive in all circumstances, and you are going to become Dagda Bija. Burnt seed means you are going to be so positive that no karma can sway you away from the spiritual path. And then from your karmic seeds, you will have to endure your pleasure and pain, but you will not create new karma. So whatever you burn is a final, is no more. You are at the final path towards the perfection. So that is about struggle, challenges, external, internal challenges, positivity, being Dagda Bija, and endurance, overcoming the tribulations. The tribulations when the thunderbolts are hitting you mercilessly, but you hold strong in your meditation, you hold strong in your morality. After those, the thunderbolts, finally, the sky is clear and the sun is shining, and you are sitting there as a totally new man, totally new woman, with the freshness and brightness and optimism, faith and joy and everything. So isn't it beautiful? So we have to become like that. Thank you very much. Write what you think. Maybe you have gone through different tribulations, and explain how you passed them or how you failed them, and what you felt and how it changed you. Namaskar.